HD3 Stevensville and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome in 102.9 ESPN Radio. You're listening to Nuanez Now, coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Appreciate you for hanging with us today. Plenty to get to, as always. Samuel and Kim inside the FCS. It's Pro Day at Montana State tomorrow. It is Pro Day at Montana on Friday. 4.5, because Paul Brott's going to do the bench there at Montana State as well. But then Ryan King, Julius Davis, Chris Long, Elijah Elliott will participate at the Montana State Pro Day tomorrow in Bozeman. A whole list of Grizzlies, 15 of them, in fact, from varying different graduating classes participating in the Pro Day tomorrow on Friday, for Montana. So Samuel, Kim, and I got into all of that and who we think are some of the potential pro prospects from either side of the rivalry. We're also going to talk some high school hoops. We got through most of the state champions. We'll hopefully have a couple more state champions for you. We still haven't talked to the Lodge Grass boys or the DGSG girls or the Scobie boys. So we'll round those up here for you in short order. But we will hear now from one of the best players, I thought, in the state of Montana, who also happens to be a future Lady Grizz. Avery DeCoit will join us. She is a senior at Big Sky High School. She led the Eagles to a third-place finish at the Class AA state tournament, and she's really, really fun to watch. I think Lady Grizz fans are going to be very excited to see her if they have not seen her play yet. So she just got done with practice. I think that means she's probably doing club ball. So she said she's on her way down to the studio right now. So we'll see her in about half an hour, about 4:30. So looking forward to that. We also have some free wings for you today, courtesy of the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. And that's all just in hour number one. Hour number two, our good buddy Colby Dant returns. He helped preview the NCAA tournament as a whole for us right before the tournament started a couple weeks ago. He is from the College Experience podcast, one of the top basketball podcasts there is, really. It's on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's been coming on for about a handful of years now, so always fun to catch up with Colby. We'll talk all things Final Four and what he thinks of the field here. And we'll also have, at least hopefully, our latest Grizz practice interview. The Grizz practice right now for spring ball, and they usually get done sometime between 5:20 and 6 o'clock. So if it's sometime between 5:20 and 5:45, we'll get them on the radio. If not, we'll circle back next time. We will have plenty of Grizz stuff on Friday. There's two coming out of that Pro Day. Hoping to catch up with Michael Wortham at least, and maybe one or two others, depending on how things go there at the University of Montana. But today our Grizz guest is Dylan Payne, a transfer running back from South Dakota. I think that the backup running back position battle for the Grizz is an important one, certainly. I just think you have to have a couple guys in the bullpen for Eli Gilman. I'm not necessarily saying it's because he's going to get hurt. You just don't want him to get hurt. You don't want to wear him out. He's a special player, special weapon. So I think the guys behind him, namely Dylan Payne and Hashim Jones, and maybe if you took a huge step this last offseason, Tommy Running Rabbit, I think those three guys are going to be the guys that are most heavily vying for carries out of the backfield behind Eli Gilman. So hopefully we can round up Dylan after Grizz get done with practice. That should be probably somewhere around, 5:40, 5:45. So there you go. That's what's coming up. Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. We are coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, and the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Let's talk some Pro Day. Lessons in technology. This is what we should call this segment. Samuel Kim teaching me some stuff. It's a work in progress, as always. He's always making fun of me. He said, I'm not even that old. Why can't I figure this stuff out? Thanks for always showing me the way, my man. How you doing? Thanks for being here.
I'm good, man. How are you? It's I don't know. I mean, I feel like at this point in the off season, not gonna lie, it's kind of boring. Like, there's not much to talk about. We'll have something to talk about next week with the spring game at Montana happening. I'm really excited about that. Pro Day's happening this week, so that'll give us some more to talk about. But I don't know. It's just kind of like a really dry period for us that cover football pretty heavily, and I don't know. It's just a low time, man. Real low time.
Well, it's because we need, it's hard to evaluate football unless you have football that you can see and watch, right? And certainly we could probably go to, you're a former player, so you could probably go to some Grizz spring ball, but the way that the timing of the practices works, it's so hard for me because I'm always either on the radio.
2 o'clock,
it's just a tough time to go if you have a job. So, I agree with you, but certainly we have plenty to talk about today. It's Inside the FCS, probably presented by Paradise Falls of Missoula. Paradise Falls, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, family friendly, and a great place to hang out. The Final Four coming up on Saturday. Need a place to watch. You head on down to Paradise Falls. All right, so
I absolutely love Paradise Falls. My goodness,
I know, man. I went there earlier this week. It was awesome. Great place.
Their chicken sandwich. Whoo.
You mentioned Pro Day.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about this from a coverage perspective because there's 18 guys doing this.
Oh man, ton.
It's gonna take 5 hours probably.
Yeah.
For everybody to get through all this stuff. But here's your list of guys that were Grizz standouts. This is, by the way, we're talking Cats and Grizz. Cats are on Thursday. They only have 4 guys doing it. I guess 4 guys plus Paul Brott. Paul Brott wants to make sure everybody knows he can bench the most, which I think is absolutely hilarious. He's basically said, I'm not going to pursue an NFL career, but on the Pro Day, I will go down and throw up the 225 as many times as I can.
I wish he would pursue an NFL career, man.
I know, man. So what do you think about that? What do you think? I see both sides of it so heavily, right? By no means was I ever an NFL player, but I decided to stop playing football probably before I could have, right?
Yeah.
But I don't regret that very much. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I went to Carroll, because Carroll College was so good back then. I probably would have had a national championship ring. But on the other hand, I got a great college time, and I got to be around football a bunch and whatever. But Paul Brott's doing it at a much higher level, right? He's All-American. Probably could have got a chance to get into a camp. I think he's probably a fringe guy. But he just made the decision, hey, man, I've been busted up. My body's hurting.
Yeah.
I want to lose weight. I've got my degree. I'm good. So, weigh those things for me, because it is once it's over, right? You can never go back.
Absolutely. It's a young man's game.
That's the hardest part about football too, right? You're never going to play competitive, a high level competitive basketball game, but you can go play hoops all the time. You can go play baseball all the time. You can go
Pro-Ams, all that stuff. You can do all that, man.
All the time. Once you're done playing football, you're never playing football again. So what do you think of his decision to walk away?
I don't know. As a fan of the game and a fan of him as a player, it makes me sad because I obviously think he's a really good player. I think he can make waves in an NFL camp, and I think he could potentially make a roster. I just think he's that good. But from a player standpoint and from a body health and just a lot of those bigger guys, I don't think people really understand how much a lot of those bigger guys don't like being that big. And I don't think a lot of people understand how many of those big guys aren't naturally that big. A lot of those guys cannot wait to get out of the game. I'm talking offensive linemen and defensive linemen. A lot of those guys cannot wait to get out of the game so that they can slim down. You don't how many linemen have you seen get out of the game of football and next thing you know they're 200 pounds, 220 pounds,
totally.
Slim. Have you seen Cooper Sprunk? That dude looks like a freaking Greek god, man.
Totally.
Dude's chin is
Paul Brott's older brother, Mitch, was, he's a 310-pound offensive tackle, and when he got done, it was boom. He was down to 240 immediately. Well, like you say, I don't think people understand the amount of effort and dedication it takes to weigh that much.
Yep.
Especially if you want to be a great athlete still, right?
Yep.
This isn't just going to McDonald's 3 times a day or whatever.
No.
You have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and start eating.
Absolutely.
You got to have 1,000 calories in you before you even leave the house, and then you got to have another 1,000 before the workout and another 1,000 after. Paul Brott told me that at the peak of this thing, he was eating 7,500 calories a day. He was eating 7 to 8 meals a day, and he expressed that to me. He said, "Man, I'm tired of this. I don't like this. It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to get off the floor like that. Naturally, I think he's probably about 220. That's what he came to Montana State as. So I can totally see it.
Came to Montana State at 220?
220, put on 90 pounds.
When did he graduate high school? That's another thing I wanted to talk about.
He was on that Billings West team that was the runner-up to Sentinel during the COVID
in 2020.
2020, yeah.
Dang, so I mean, he's been in school for 5 years.
2021. Oh no, see,
that was 2020, and they went 2020, 2021.
2019 and 2020, or 2020, 2021.
I know one of them was COVID. I can't remember if the first one was before or after COVID.
He was a fifth-year senior last year, so I think that he was 2020 was when he graduated. And then he was at Montana State 21 through 25, which would have been 5 years, right?
Yeah. Either way, I mean, that's a long time to play the game, and I just think the biggest thing is, like, a lot of those guys don't love being that big. And, obviously I think, you don't play at this level, at this high of a level for this long as Paul Broad has without having a love for the game. But I also think there's a time when, like, it's not even about how good I am or how good I can be. Like, some guys, which is crazy to me because I always wanted to maximize my talent. And not saying Paul Broad absolutely has maximized his talent at the college level, but, like, I think some guys just get to the point to where they're like, man, like, I just don't, like, I don't love the game like that. Like, I don't love it enough to keep putting the time and effort in to go to the next level, and I think that's exactly what you're saying. Paul Brock told you is, like, I just don't love it enough to continue to put this time and effort into it. And I get that. I get that, because it is hard. I mean, just think about how hard and how much effort he had to put in at Montana State. That is going to 10x itself when you get to the next level. Like, they're just going to require more. The time and effort and energy that you have to put in it is more. This is now your full-time job, and not everybody is built for that, and that's okay. But it does make me sad as a fan of the game and as a fan of his talent. It definitely makes me a little sad to see him, just kind of like put it down. Like Andy dropping a toy, like, I don't want to play with you anymore.
Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Samuel Kim joining us here on this Wednesday. Yeah, it's the hardest position to make the NFL. Well, one of, I'd say. I don't know. How would you rank it? I think defensive tackle, corner. I mean, a quarterback, obviously.
Quarterback. They only keep 3, man.
Yeah. But the problem is, like, Paul Broad is super good.
Yeah.
There is such crazy D tackles that are coming out of the SEC and the Big Ten. You know what I mean?
Hey,
like Alex Gubner hardly got a sniff, and Alex Gubner is straight dominant. I mean, he's
won Defensive Player of the Year with barely any stats.
I mean, he's dog, just wrecking people, and then he couldn't even make it. So, like, that shows you just how hard it is to make it. So I wonder if that's just part of this too, right? I mean, there's just so many 6'4", 310-pound dudes that are coming out of Alabama and Arkansas and Georgia,
and they're not 6'3", they're 6'5", 6'6".
Exactly. and they it's not the effort. Like, Paul Broad is like losing the weight fast, right? Whereas, like, these dudes, a dude like Jordan Davis, like, that dude is 300 pounds no matter what he ever is going to do in his life.
And he runs a 4.7.
If he's alive in the world, he's going to be 6'5", 300. He's just a huge person. So, anyways, to finish the pro day thought about Ryan King, Julius Davis, Chris Long, Elijah Elliott, the other 4 guys participating in the Bobcat Pro Day. Any of those guys have a shot? I mean, Julius Davis, maybe, yeah?
Yeah, Julius Davis, he's a bruiser. I think he can definitely get an opportunity in somebody's camp. I think he should, at the very least, I like Chris Long, obviously Taco. I think he'll run well, yes. Obviously, Taco Dowler was the feature guy, and I think Dane Steele is kind of moving into that number 2 role, and I think we kind of saw that last year, him moving into that number 2 role, and I think he's going to be a dog. I expect him to kind of have a breakout year this year, but I don't know, man. I saw some clips online of Chris Long, and obviously watching the film of him, like, man, he's got some wiggle, and he's got the ability to get open, and he feels like he's got good speed, and anytime the ball was in his hands, he made plays. Obviously, he dealt with an injury last year, but I don't know. I'm intrigued by him. I'm intrigued by him to see how he tests, because I think that's really going to dictate. He's obviously not going to get drafted, but I think he can get into somebody's camp, but I think it'll be heavily dependent on his numbers. Ryan King, I don't know so much. I think also, too, I think the biggest thing is, like, these guys are the national champions, so I think somebody is going to give all these guys maybe an opportunity at the very least. Like, you'll get a mini camp invite just by being on the national championship Bobcats.
Well, I think they have to explain that. I think the agent, if they have a good agent, or if they can explain it themselves in the interview process as well, right? Like, you look at Ryan King's resume. He comes from the premier high school in the state of Georgia. He's a 4-star recruit coming out. He goes to Georgia Tech. They don't throw the ball there. So he decides he's going to go to East Carolina. Falls out of favor there because they have a coaching change. And he says, well, I want to win. I'm going to go to Montana State because I want to win. He doesn't get the ball at all. But, like, if you just look at the guy, I mean, his film is great. He just doesn't have any. He has hardly any plays because they hardly threw it to him. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't get a ton of targets, but the targets that he does get, he makes the most of them. Absolutely.
Like I asked Sam Mix about it. I said, okay, because I wrote a story about Ryan King last year because I thought it was a fascinating deal. I asked Sam Mix, the former Montana State receivers coach, I said, why is Ryan King still your starting X? And he said, he practices harder than anybody. He works harder than anybody. He runs better routes than anybody. He's the best receiver on our team. He just doesn't get the ball because he's not,
That's not how the offense works.
That's not how the offense works. So It's just interesting because, like, I guarantee you there'll be a scout or two in Bozeman that are looking at this guy and they're like, 6'4", 225?
Where was he at?
If he runs well, they'll be like, why did this guy only have 16 catches last year,
Yeah, right.
So
yeah,
interesting deal. Let's talk about the Grizz then. 18 guys participating. 3 of them are from non-Montana. But then you have guys that were on last year's Montana team, including Liam Brown, offensive line, Kellen Dietrich, defensive line, Prince Ford at corner, Kenzel Lawler at corner, Ty Morrison, kicker and punter, Cannon Pampholoff on the offensive line, Hunter Peck, defensive line, Grayson Pibble, long snapper, Stevie Rocker Jr., a running back, Evan Schaefer, a tight end, Elijah Tolbert, a linebacker, Michael Wortham, a wide receiver. Then you have guys that are Grizz retreads that are from a year or two ago. Aaron Fonts, I think he probably just wants to run it back for his own psychology because last year he was hurt, and that sucked for him. Because like when he ran a 4.79, we all looked at each other like, well, that's not possible. Something happened to him, right? Like, he's the fastest guy on the team. Well, I mean, him and Junior Berger are the fastest guys on the team.
Aaron's faster than, in my opinion, Aaron's faster than Junior.
And I think that they would have admitted that, right, in their primes, right? And then Cole Grossman, who had a crazy saga at Montana, and then Vi Cajo, a linebacker who was a transfer at San Diego State, just a one and done guy for the Grizz. Wortham. Probably the best prospect, right? He's the guy headlining this for the Montana.
Second
Grizz.
highest graded receiver in all of college football, D1 football at least, last season. I mean, dude is freaking productive, man.
What does he have to do to assure himself a shot?
I need a 4.4 or lower. 4.3 would be great, but a 4.4 is like mandatory, in my opinion. I don't think, the film is going to, and that's the biggest thing is like, to me, the film should be like, turn on the film, you see that's an impact player. No matter where you put him at, whether he's at returner, whether he's at running back, whether he's at wildcat quarterback, whether he's at receiver. And mind you, last year was his first playing receiver ever in his career, and he went for 1,200 receiving yards at one of the blue bloods in FCS football. So, obviously he's working with a great quarterback, obviously working with a great offensive coordinator, but like, people don't just pick up receiver like that. Like, there's a lot of nuance to getting open. There's a lot of nuance to running routes. And I think from that standpoint, as a talent evaluator, you look at Michael Wortham and you're like, man, like, this guy is extremely raw. He doesn't have a ton of mileage on him in terms of being a receiver. He's got a ton of versatility. Now, he is a little short. I'm interested to see how tall he measures that. I'd say 5'8".
That was my next question is what happens when the tape measure says 5'7"? I think there's a huge misperception among football fans. I think they think that most receivers are like you, 6'4".
No,
but like
most receivers like 5'11", 6 foot.
In the NFL, the average receiver is between 5'11" and 6'1". Like, all the best guys are 5'11" to 6'1". That's what they are. Outlier guys are like Calvin Johnson and Mike Evans, but most of the guys are 5'11" to 6'1".
That's why AJ Green was so crazy, because he ran a 4.3 and he's 6'4". Like,
totally. Nobody's 5'7". That's the problem. Like, the comps for 5'7" guys are guys that run 4.2s.
Look at the. I will say, here's a good comp. Now, I think Junior's a little taller. I think Junior's like 5'9", 5'10", 5'8", 5'9", 5'10".
Junior was 5'10" and a half, actually.
5'10". Okay, yeah, that's good. But what I was going to say is, I think Wortham is a comparable returner. Now, obviously, Junior did some legendary things in the return game. I don't know if Michael Wortham got the same amount of opportunities to return the ball as Junior did. So take this with a grain of salt. But I think Michael is a comparable returner to Junior. Obviously shorter, but in terms of a statistical standpoint, he had a greater season as a receiver. So
totally.
When you look at it from that standpoint, Junior is a 7th round draft pick.
That was going to be my next question is, how much do you think the sample size we have of Tommy Mellott and Junior Bergen getting drafted helps Michael Wortham? Because I would agree with you. I think that Michael Wortham is better at receiver than both of those guys.
Oh, incredible. come on, man. What are we talking about? Like, I think that helps him a ton. I mean, you look at Junior, he's still on the roster. I think he has a great chance to be on the 53 this year with some of the pieces that they, I don't know if that returner from last year, I can't even remember his name, the guy who came over from Kansas City, I don't know if he's coming back, but I think Junior has a great opportunity this year. Obviously, he was a 7th round draft pick. Tommy got drafted as a receiver, and, I don't know where he's going to be now. I think, is he still with the Saints, or where is he at? Is he a free agent right now? Or?
He had his health thing. He had to have hip surgery, and basically I think he's in wait and see mode. I think he's got to pass a physical. Right now, he's not on a roster.
For sure. Well, got drafted. I think that's a blueprint right there. But I think, back to my original point, sorry, I go on tangents all the time. I think I really need to see in the 4-4, a 4-3 would be perfect for him, but a 4-4, I think a 4-5 hurts him. Now, obviously, a 4-5 is blazing, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is, like, a 4-5 is still incredibly fast. And even a 4-6 is still incredibly fast. But, like, for him, his height, where he's probably going to measure in on that tape measure, I think I need to see a 4-4 at the minimum. I think his short shuttle needs to be incredibly fast. I think it will be, because that shows up on the film, and that some of those drills, it's like you can see it on the film. I think his L cone in a short shuttle will be really good. That 40 needs to be really good. I don't know if the bench necessarily matters for him, but I think the
you gotta be able to
routes,
do it though, right? Like
you do.
The bench, you got to be able to like hit 10. Like, you just got to show, like,
I don't know if you need 10. I think Morey got 7.
Right. You got to just prove you could rep it, though. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just sit up there and get crushed and get 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
we were. I was talking to somebody who did a pro day before, and they said somebody got under the bar and never even did a rep. And I'm like, yo, why would you even get under the bar if you don't know you can do 1 rep? Like, what are we talking about?
Totally. I could go on and on about the bench thing, man. It's wild to me. Some of these guys, it's like, man, have you ever? And we'll leave it alone. It's like sometimes you sit there like, have you ever lifted weights, dude? Like, what is it? Like, okay, it's brutal. But Wortham, I think you're right.
The 40.
I think that the 40 is where it's at, but I also think that when people see him move, I think scouts are gonna. I think they're going to like what they see and maybe be able to talk themselves into him. Because I think that you're right. If you look at the film and you just break down the precision of the routes, you'd say raw. But if you look at the guy's spatial awareness and how he moves and the way he can look at coverages and stuff like that, I mean, he's next level, man. He's the biggest natural that I have seen doing it for the Grizz. Wouldn't you agree?
1,200 yards first year at the position.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about?
And running a lot of sophisticated routes, too, like running a lot of option routes, playing with feel very often. So I'm rooting for Wortham. I just wonder. I think if the measuring tape says 5'8" or higher, that helps him. I think if it's 5'7.5" is going to be hard for him, man. And he's not tall. That's going to be hard for him to overcome.
Yeah, that's the one thing. But, I think he can help mitigate that with good testing numbers. I mean, good testing numbers. If you're fast, if you can move well, and if the film checks out everything they're thinking, I think for Wortham it's a twofold evaluation. If you want to look at his best returning ability, you go back to Eastern Washington 2024. Yes. If you want to look at his best receiver tape, you obviously go to Montana. But I think with that, and that's the biggest thing is, man, just turn on the film, and at the very least, I know Michael Wortham. I feel pretty confident saying Michael Wortham is going to get an opportunity as a UDFA. I think he's going to make somebody's 90. Somebody's going to take a flyer on him and say, hey, let's see what he can present in camp. Let's see how he takes the playbook. Let's see how he let's just see. Let's bring him in. Because if he pans out, it's great for us. If he doesn't pan out, hey, we didn't draft him. We didn't spend any draft capital on him. He's just a UDFA, just a camp body. So I think he's going to get an opportunity. I think it's going to be on him to see what he's able to do with said opportunity.
Who else, if anybody, from that list of Grizz guys is going to have a shot to maybe turn some heads and get in a camp?
This might be a shocker, and maybe not a shocker to people who pay attention, but I really think Evan Schaefer has a real opportunity to get.
I want to know what's up with his knee, right? That's the number one thing, because he got hurt in the Super Bowl. Yeah. If he's still coming back from that, that's going to hurt him. But if he can move, you're right, because I mean he will be the strongest guy for sure.
Yep. one of the best blocking tight ends in the country.
Yes.
Regardless of level. I mean, I didn't watch a ton of, I don't pay attention to a bunch of solely tight ends at blocking at the FBS level or even at the FCS level. But from what I've seen, he was a huge, and he's going to be a huge miss in their running game if they can't replace his production. Because, I mean, there's clips where you see the running back in the hole is being created by Evan Schaefer. Now, obviously, the offensive line is doing their job, and Eli Gilman's doing his job, but Evan Schaefer is running guys over, genuinely.
Yes.
So I think I don't know if his test numbers necessarily matter. I think for him, the eval is definitely his film. But I think he can get into somebody's camp and really make waves. And then another player is Kenzel Lawler. I think his running numbers are going to matter as well. I think he has to run well, but I think he had a pretty decent season. Obviously, there's clips on there where he's getting cooked a little bit, but I think he can get into somebody's camp and make things happen. But I think he has to run. I mean, he's got to be 4.5, 4.4. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to get picked up by somebody if he's running a 4.6, just because he is taller, just because the film is good, not great. And at the FCS level as a cornerback, they want to see great film. They want to see you ton of PBUs, or, you're just locking things down to where they're not throwing to you. I mean, that's where you have to be at the FCS level. So, and that's the thing about an FCS prospect is I'm always going to revert to the numbers. I think you should always revert to the film, but because the film is against lesser competition, you have to revert. The numbers have to be at a certain level for the film to matter to them,
Last guy might be able to turn some heads is Liam Brown, just because of his sheer size.
How tall is he though?
They list him at
6'5" on the roster. 316.
6'5", 316.
Does he look 6'5" to you?
Yeah, their official height is going to be interesting for sure.
But I think I agree with that. I think so. I think he's another guy who could potentially turn some heads. But to me, it's Michael, it's Evan Schaefer, it's Kenzel Lawler, and then like you said, Liam Brown is another potential. Definitely.
Samuel
I don't know about Elijah Tolbert. Obviously, he was injured at the end of the season, but he's a guy I think potentially maybe could get a camp invite as well.
Man, it's just gotten so hard lately, man. Like I just feel like when guys like Nolan Askelson and Brody Grebe don't get camp invites, it's like that's sort of the baseline for guys that are linebacker / edge rusher type of guys. I mean, Grebe's 6'2", 250 and ran a 4.5 something and put up like 29 reps and had like a 40-inch vertical and didn't even get sniff.
That is insane.
I mean, Askelson,
maybe too with Grebe, it's like he's a tweener. So do you put him at backer? Do you put him at
D
end?
Askelson's smaller, but I mean he's still 6'1", 225 and ran sub 4.6 and did 20 plus reps and did maybe nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it is hard these days. It is definitely hard as an FCS guy, defensive for sure. It goes back to the point you made. I mean, for Grebe's standpoint, like there's 56'5", 230-pound defensive ends, 250-pound defensive ends that coming out of the Big Ten and SEC every year. So it's like we can go find somebody who may not be as fast or might not put up as much on the bench as you, but like we like their size and we like what they bring to the table from a baseline standpoint better than what we like what you're offering. Because I think 6'2" is a little short for a defensive end and Grebe's standpoint.
I also think that scouts can manifest in their mind what it looks like. If you have film of Michael Wortham running away from people and you say to yourself, well, that guy's slow, he plays in the FCS.
Absolutely.
You can still imagine it against somebody that's faster. Whereas, like, if the film you're watching is Brody Grebe just coming off the edge and beating an FCS tackle like a drum, what film does he have against NFL guys? Like that's the biggest thing I think that stood in the way of guys like Marcus Ware, Brody Grebe, Alex Gubner at Montana.
Yeah.
Like, who is your film against? Weir had the greatest film in the world. I mean, he's the highest rated offensive lineman in college football.
Dominating.
But who is he dominating?
Mercy Hurst.
Like, even New Mexico, it doesn't matter.
New Mexico, he was pushing him around.
But like those guys aren't in the NFL.
Absolutely
like
not.
The only NFL guy he really went against was Gubner when he played against Montana, and
Gubner had his way that game.
And Eli Mostert from North Dakota State, and he was still a fringe NFL guy too. So
yeah,
I think when you're a big guy, the film is the thing that bears out the most.
Absolutely.
Nuanez Now 102.9 at ESPN Radio. Okay, so do you expect any of these guys? Is there anybody from the state of Montana that's going to get drafted this year?
I think if anybody, it would have to be Wortham. And he would have to blow his testing out of the water. But I think Wortham could be in a junior situation where he could potentially go late, seventh round. I think seventh round is the ceiling is the ceiling for him in terms of draft position. But it'd have to be Wortham. I mean, remind me of the Montana guys. You got I think Chris Long, Ryan King.
Chris Long, Ryan King, Julius Davis, Elijah Elliott, and then Paul Broadus doing the bench.
No. Michael Wortham's the only guy.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a thin year. I think that I hate to be harsh, and certainly these guys can prove me wrong by blowing the pro day out of the water next couple of days. But I think that Wortham, I don't think anybody gets drafted, and I think Wortham gets into a camp. I think if Schaefer's knee is healthy, he gets into a camp. Yeah, and I think that that's it. I don't think I think Julius Davis is going to be on the outside looking in, unfortunately. I think that Liam Brown, Cannon Pamphilov, Hunter Peck, I think those guys are all going to be just on the outside looking in.
What's also going to hurt Schaefer, he's a phenomenal blocker. His knee's going to hurt him, and the health of it is going to hurt him, but also he is not a receiver, man. Right. Somebody's probably going to bring Schaefer in and be like, hey, can you get to 320, 330, and or 310? Can we put you at tackle?
Well, that's the thing is that's what just should have happened at Montana.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even put on any weight, man. He could have played right tackle at 285.
280?
I mean, he listed at 282 last year. He could have definitely played right tackle at that weight.
Even guard.
Totally.
Anywhere on the offensive line, honestly. I think that's another place, and not to get off too much, but I think that's another place that Montana's been missing at is recognizing that hey, he might be a good blocking tight end, but just imagine how good of a lineman he'd be. And then we can actually, maybe you're missing something with not having another blocking tight end on the field. And maybe that was the thinking is instead of moving him to tackle or guard, we got 5 linemen on the field and we got Schaefer. So that gives you 6 to block in the run game. And maybe that was one of the reasons why the run game was good behind Schaefer. But no, they definitely, man. And maybe what if he does come in and they have him listed at tight end, but what if him and his agent have been talking and they're like, okay, you're going to do this thing as we're telling the scouts there that you want to play lineman. Because that's where I think I missed that. I think I should have went to tight end, H-back.
Yeah,
for sure.
If you would have done your whole career, maybe, or even just a year or two, right?
Yeah.
I think you got to have film, man. I just think the way the NFL is now, they're not going to develop you. It's why Tommy Millett was facing such an uphill battle. We need
to see you've done it already.
No matter how sweet of an athlete you are. There's just the dudes that Millett was competing for a roster spot with in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You're talking about dudes that were 3-time first team All ACC at Wake Forest, and a dude who was the best receiver at TCU, and guys that are guys that are ridiculously good at receiver right away. Already they've been doing their whole lives. The NFL is just not trying to develop you. That's not as much of a thing as it used to be because there's so many guys available now.
No, we need you ready to play right now. Obviously we can teach you the nuances of our offense and our scheme, but you need to have the base level of how to play the position down. We're going to have a coach there, and obviously he's going to develop you a little bit in terms of teaching you a thing here or a thing there, but you should have the basics down. And that's the NFL, I think that's why a lot of people kind of have been upset with the NFL as of late in terms of their ability to develop the quarterback position, because I don't think a lot of people think there is a lot of quarterback development going on in the NFL lately. And I think that can kind of be trickled down to all the positions in the NFL. Is who really is getting developed in the NFL right now? What position is really getting developed in the NFL right now?
You got to develop it yourself, right?
Yep.
You got to get yourself on a team, and then you got to do it, right?
Yep. Get a trainer. Get whatever you got to do. You got to do it yourself. Absolutely.
It's why Cooper Kupp deserves all the credit in the world, man. Because he was the guy that proved you could do it, and then he has been the guy that's helped other guys develop. To me, it is no coincidence that Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith and Jigba became 2 of the best receivers in the NFL.
Man,
while playing with Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm always telling our boy Keenan Curran, stop paying Kupp $16 million. Pay him $5 million to be your receivers coach. He's 34. It's good. His best days are behind him. But keep him in the organization. Just have him be the assistant receivers coach so he can work with those guys.
I mean, at the end of the day, that dude's a freaking Super Bowl MVP.
No doubt.
You need to listen to that guy. If I'm a receiver, I'm soaking up not only is he a Super Bowl MVP, but think about his college career, Coulter. This dude broke Jerry Rice's records. Jerry Rice, the greatest of all time. He broke those records. So, what are we talking about?
Think about this. Take your college numbers.
Yeah.
Samari's college numbers.
Yep.
Keenan Curran's college numbers. And Junior Bergen's college numbers.
As receivers.
Combine them.
Still not catching.
Still less than Cup.
Yep.
That's crazy.
The biggest one to me is the touchdown record. The touchdown record at Montana as a receiver is 29. Me and Mark Mariani are tied for it. Cooper Kupp has freaking 80.
80.
That's like 20 touchdowns a year. I don't think people really 20 touchdowns a year.
I haven't added up the stats lately, but for example, I don't know what it is now. I need to look at the record book but forever, the all-time leading the career touchdown mark at Montana State was 18. Cup got more touchdowns in a season 3 times in 4 years at Eastern Washington than anybody in the history of the Cats. Yeah, it's wild to think about. He's definitely the GOAT of FCS football, no doubt.
Yeah.
Tons more spring ball coverage coming your way. We'll have a preview of the Grizz spring game next week, and then we'll keep on diving into both Grizz and Cats. I want to talk linebackers with Sammy next week as well. So we'll do it each Wednesday here on Nuanez Now. Samuel and Kim, Coulter Nuanez, presented by Paradise Falls of Missoula. Thanks for being here, dude. Thanks. Good to see you.
Appreciate you, man.
Paradise Falls, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Proud to sponsor Inside the FCS each Wednesday here with Samuel Akem. Need a place to watch the Final Four games tip at about 4, a little after 4, and a little after 6:45 on Saturday. Paradise Falls, great place to take in all the action. I went down to Paradise Falls on, what day was it? Monday. And I had the Hawaiian chicken sandwich with the pineapple on there. Oh, man, it was good. I appreciate Paradise for... They're my oldest client. I love those guys. They're awesome. They've been supporting this show since day one, and we couldn't do it without them. Need a place to watch any sports action. Paradise Falls will have it on for you at 3621 Brook Street. Paradise Falls, Missoula's coolest hotspot. Avery DeCoit, Missoula Big Sky. Next, keep it right here, ESPN Radio.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the uniquely designed and well-equipped 2024 Buick Encore GX with models starting at $28,895. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to demorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Encores and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
It's easy to see why Montana is the treasure state. At the University of Montana, we look inside. We see an old truth with fresh eyes, that Montana's greatest treasure is its people. So whatever tomorrow brings, we meet it the only way we know how, with a mind for making. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Missoula Big Sky Boys basketball coach Zach Murphy has resigned after a 4-year run, capped by a third-place finish at the state AA tournament in March. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Murphy officially informed athletic director Jack Young on Monday that he was stepping down after letting him know of his potential intentions to do so after the season ended. He told his players he would be resigning late last week in what he described as an emotional team meeting. Murphy cited family reasons in a heartfelt statement to 406 Empty Sports as his reason for resigning. Murphy led Big Sky to 2 state tournament berths and a third-place trophy during his 4 seasons as the varsity head coach. His teams have sent at least one player on to play in college after each season. He was an assistant varsity coach and junior varsity head coach when the Eagles placed 3rd in the 2022 season. It was their best placing at state since taking 4th in 2007 and their first state trophy since winning the championship in 1997. The Grizz football team received its 4th verbal commitment of the spring recruiting season over the weekend. Cooper Pelk, a 4-sport athlete at Kalispell Glacier, gave his verbal commitment to head coach Bobby Kennedy and his staff. Pelk earned Class AA First Team All-State honors as both a wide receiver and cornerback during his senior season. The 6'3", 190-pounder caught 37 passes for 707 yards and 7 touchdowns last fall as the Wolfpack won the Class AA state title.
Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Well, we got a Big Sky heavy week here at Missoula Broadcast. And part of that's just because that's the way that it's working out. We're catching up with all the state hoopers and all the people that took home trophies, including our next guest. Welcome back to Nuanez Now, 1029 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. It's time for our Prep Extra. It's probably presented by Farmers State Bank. Farmers State Bank, enriching the lives of Montanans since 1907. Avery DeCoit, Missoula Big Sky senior, joining us here in studio. And Big Sky took 3rd in basketball, both boys and girls. So Eli Kasberg, a junior there at Big Sky, he's going to swing by tomorrow. And just kind of the way it worked out. But when the same school gets 3rd on both sides, we figured we'd put a bow here on basketball season. So thanks for coming down. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I know you said you were just at practice. I know you're training. So basketball season never ends for you. So just tell people what you're up to. Even though basketball season has ended, you're still hooping.
Yeah. Just kind of getting some reps in, preparing for the next step, which is obviously going to the Grizz. So. Getting on those details going into the Grizz, I think, what we're focused on now.
Yeah, totally. Well, you got to take us through the state tournament run. It was super fun watching you. I know that the semifinal against West was a heartbreaker, but then you guys battled back and you had a great performance in the 3rd place game. So what did that take? I mean, what did it take to just bounce back? And it must have felt really good to take home a trophy.
Yeah, it was hard because I think last year we did it too. We bounced back from the 3rd place game, and last year's kind of we were hoping for any trophy, but going into this year we had ourselves going to the state chipper, and so I think bouncing back was a little bit harder this year for us. But we didn't want to settle with anything less because we thought it would low-key be embarrassing.
Right.
And we had to still prove ourselves, so we kind of still fought back, and I think it was good for us to be able to walk away with the trophy still.
I mean, it's one of the hardest spots you can be in high school hoops when you're in that semifinal game and then you lose. But then, I mean, it is just so rewarding to be able to go out with a trophy. But Big Sky's been able to do this the last couple of years. I know even when the tournament was here in Missoula, the year you were hurt, still been able to fight back. You guys have taken home trophies multiple times. So, What has gone into that? I mean, it was pretty fun to watch Big Sky sort of make a comeback. You guys have been very good these last couple of years.
Yeah. I think our coach has done a good job of being honest all year and making us stay level-headed. Obviously, we went 14-0 in the regular season, and he kind of had us put that behind us going into state, but letting it bring us confidence, but knowing that it's still state and anyone can beat us. And so I think he kept us pretty level-headed.
When you're thinking about going into that third-place game, you know it's like a crosstown.
Yeah.
I mean, how did that influence just the way you were thinking about it?
Yeah, no, those are always intense, and I personally had a bad game the most recent time we played them before state.
Right.
And so it was kind of personal for me, and I wanted to make a statement to myself. Last high school game ever, and I did not want to lose to our rivals. So I think that was kind of flowing through our entire team, not wanting to lose to the team across the town. So I think that kind of carried for us.
Yeah, we were joking. We were saying we should just go and drive back to Missoula and have the doubleheader, right? Because there would have been thousands of people there.
Yeah.
It's still great crowds there in Billings, but if you bring Missoula and have Big Sky Hellgate ×2 with third place on the line, that would have been pretty fun. Avery DeCoy joining us here in studio. Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. So how would you just sum up your time at Big Sky then? Was it fun for you playing for Coach Williams? What sort of things did he teach you?
Yeah, no, I think I definitely don't regret going to Big Sky. I obviously was almost going to Sentinel, and I transferred the week before freshman year, and I think Travis has grown my love of the game for basketball tremendously, and I think I kind of owe it to him for growing me from freshman to senior year along with all my teammates, so kind of just giving it to everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it was really fun to watch you throughout your high school career, but basketball not over for this young lady. She's going to the Lady Grizz State here in Missoula, so take us through that. Is that probably a dream for you since you were little, right?
Oh, yeah, no, it's huge. I remember the first person I told was my mom, and I kind of couldn't wait to tell my mom. She was the first person I wanted to tell. And I think I said this last time, but there's an energy through our house, through everyone in our family. We were all super excited. And so knowing that I don't have to move towns, I get to stay here and just have the community with me, it would be really, really nice.
Well, tell us about just some of the things that you liked about the program and the school.
Yes. So when I went on my official visit, I got to do the normal stuff, and I got to watch their practice, and I kind of fell in love with how they practice. The girls were super nice, and it reminded me a lot of the Big Sky team, how they how they acted with each other. So it was super comforting, and then the coaching staff is super nice. And I mean, Nate, he wants you to be a better person more than a better basketball person or basketball player, and so I think that for me was huge. And then obviously staying in my hometown is a big factor. So.
Well, I mean, there's so many people that do dream of that grew up in Missoula like I did, dream of playing for the Grizz, and maybe it's too elusive of a goal, but when you do get to accomplish it, it's pretty darn cool. A rebuild at Montana, certainly right now, but it seems like a good opportunity for somebody that's coming in and joining the program. So what do you just think of sort of the future here for the Lady Grizz?
Yeah, no, I think it is a rebuilding year coming up, and the other players with me coming in as a freshman are really good, and I think the players there right now are going to be good, and I think we'll make something special out of it. I think everyone has a lot to offer once we get it going together. Yeah,
it's going to be fun to see just sort of the renewal here, because there's going to be a lot of young players coming in, not a lot of seniors on the Lady Grizz this last year, so sort of a young team. When you first made the decision, what did it feel like for you?
It's kind of crazy. It didn't hit me until a couple weeks later. It didn't feel real, but it was super exciting, and then it started setting in, and then the expectation kind of raises the bar. I don't even know how to explain it. Things I used to get away with,
sure.
On the basketball court, I'd be this is not the level that I'll be at next year. I can't be doing that. And so I think it's kind of evolved me into a better basketball player too.
That's interesting that you already realized that, right? That you did have to work on some stuff, have to tighten stuff up, right? There's been so many opportunities lately for gals from Montana to play at a high level. Mm-hmm. I know you just got back from the HIT tournament. The club scene in Montana is really good. I mean, you can find a game where, there's 10 girls that are going to college that are playing in it. So how much do you think just doing that sort of stuff has helped you?
The HIT tournament?
Yeah, just HIT tournament, playing club with high-level players, playing with some of these girls around Montana, just competing with them. How much do you think that's helped drive your level of play?
So the HIT tournament, obviously the teams are stacked full of the best players in Montana, and so it's fun to get to play at the higher level, and it kind of relates to, honestly, the next level I'll be at. And then for club, it's all the players at HIT are all my club teammates. So I was playing against all my teammates,
right,
which was really fun, but kind of go head to head. But I think Blazers for us is a good chance to play against the best players not even from Montana.
Right.
And so you really get to see the top talent outside of the Big Sky. and I think it's like nice to be able to compare yourself, but like get to see that exposure.
For sure. Is there anybody that you've crossed paths with on the club scene that's going like big time?
Okay, wait, it's coming to me. It's South Carolina.
Oh.
Me and my mom, we got to like watch the main court. This was a couple years ago. Can't remember, or maybe she's at LSU.
Either way,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
people are going,
LSU,
you know,
like,
okay,
top players, we got to watch, and then it's like we get to watch them on TV now, and it's like we saw that in person a couple years ago, and it's kind of crazy, but
yeah. Well, that's super awesome. I've followed you for a long time because I'm actually friends with your cousin Ben Lodge, who I know is a good loyal listener of the show. But your father also, he doesn't probably remember me, but he used to sub in on our flag football team after his career had gotten done. But Dave played for the Grizz football team, so I mean, sort of pairing that together, not following sort of in your dad's footsteps. What's that part like for you?
Yeah, no, that part's kind of crazy, and like I was saying, I was excited to tell my mom. I was just excited to tell my dad because I knew he'd be super proud of me getting to follow his footsteps. And obviously, he already has made a name for our last name there, and I think getting to add on to it will be super exciting. And I hope to just keep upping, I guess, our last name. Yeah,
I mean, it's such a cool opportunity for you. Do you think does it come with any pressure?
A little bit, yeah, because everyone said like people say I played football or play basketball like you played football.
Indeed,
super aggressive, and so I think that's a cool way to look at it when I get there. Is I want people to be able to see that too for themselves, like. Yeah. Kind of, you'll tell who I am just from the last name.
Definitely. Is that part natural to you? I mean, you always have been really aggressive. Is that part just like part of your basketball personality?
Yeah, I would think so. I think it also got from him and my mom. Like, we're a very competitive family. And so I think that carries for me, just not wanting to lose, like giving it your all. Like, anything can happen. And so just doing any little things to not lose, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Well, last thing for you, what has you most excited about this next step in getting to go to the Lady Grizz?
What has me most excited?
Yeah, what's the most exciting part for you?
There's so much to it. I think, starting off with the sadder parts, but like happy too, is I get to like move from my friendships here, but I get to build new ones, and they're going to be my lifelong best friends. Like, and I already have gotten super close with a lot of them, and so I think building around that and getting to play at a higher level with new close players, I think will be super fun. So I'm excited to like be in a new environment that challenges me. Yeah,
that's awesome. I think you're going to embrace the challenge. I think it's going to be very fun for you.
I hope so.
Avery DeCoit at Missoula Big Sky in studio with us. We will have plenty of these sort of senior spotlight type interviews as part of our Prep Extra series. It's probably presented by Vertical Raise, the elite online fundraising platform. You want the biggest checks for your high school sports organization? Visit verticalraise406.com. Thanks so much for coming down. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. We'll give you some free wings from the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. We'll give you a bracket update, both the men and the women's NCAA tournament. That's next. Keep it right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
What do you expect me to say to her? She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John?
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Welcome back. Welcome to that ESPN Radio. Nuanez Now coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio. Went a little long with Samuel Cam, and then we went a little over with Avery DeCoit, so we're sort of up against it. But we'll give you some wings from the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. Despo is also providing some prizes for our ESPN Bracket Challenge. Jewelry Design Center has propped up a $500 gift card as our grand prize. We also have some sweet memorabilia boxes. We have a hobby box from Zootown Sports Cards, NHL style. I have not let the guys in the back see it because I think they'll want it. We also got a couple baseball boxes of cards for you as well. And then, of course, some stuff from the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. Despo, great place to hang out, watch the games. Baseball season's underway. The wings, though, that's what's going to keep you, and that's what's going to keep you coming back for more. You want wings to the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. Text us right now, 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Text it right now for your chance to win wings from the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. Desperado Wing It Wednesday, every Wednesday here on 102.9 ESPN Radio. The NCAA Women's Tournament, we've hardly talked about this because the beatdowns have just sort of been so profound. I mean, UConn, for example, won 90-52 over Texas San Antonio, 98-45 over Syracuse, 63-42 over North Carolina, and 72-52 over Notre Dame. So you got into the Final Four. If they beat South Carolina like that, goodness. But I mean, South Carolina won by 70 in the first round, 40 in the second round. Do the math quickly: 36 in the third round, and then won 78-52 against TCU. So that's 26 points to get to the Final Four. So those have been utterly dominant. It's all one seeds in the women's tournament. And on the other side of the bracket, UCLA won 96-43, 87-68, 80-56, 70-58. So that's a 12-point margin, which is actually the closest of any of these one seeds have had. Texas won 87-45 in the first round, 100-58 in the second round, 76-54 in the third round, and then drilled Michigan for the regional championship, 77-41. I mean, think about that. The four regional championships were UConn versus Notre Dame. UConn won by 18. UCLA versus Duke. UCLA won by 14. South Carolina versus TCU. South Carolina won by 26. And Texas versus Michigan. And Texas won by, do the math real quick in my head, 37 points. Amazing. Parity, who needs it? There's four juggernauts in the Final Four for women's college basketball. The Final Four begins on Friday is that right? April 3rd is Friday, indeed. And then the championship game coming around the corner as well. So we'll have plenty to talk about the men's tournament and the women's tournament. We appreciate you for entering our bracket challenge, and we appreciate you for hanging out here on Wing It Wednesday. Hour one, the books. Hour two coming at you. Colby Dant, the College Basketball Experience Podcast. Talking all things Final Four. Next, keep it right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller and Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the exceptionally designed 2024 Buick Envision with models starting at $39,795. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to DeMorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Envisions and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
Life's about the journey, not the destination, right? Why can't it be about both?
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Missoula Big Sky Boys basketball coach Zach Murphy has resigned after a 4-year run, capped by a third-place finish at the state AA tournament in March. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Murphy officially informed athletic director Jack Young on Monday that he was stepping down after letting him know of his potential intentions to do so after the season ended. He told his players he would be resigning late last week in what he described as an emotional team meeting. Murphy cited family reasons in a heartfelt statement to 406 Empty Sports as his reason for resigning. Murphy led Big Sky to 2 state tournament berths and a third-place trophy during his 4 seasons as the varsity head coach. His teams have sent at least one player on to play in college after each season. He was an assistant varsity coach and junior varsity head coach when the Eagles placed 3rd in the 2022 season. It was their best placing at state since taking 4th in 2007 and their first state trophy since winning the championship in 1997. The Grizz football team received its 4th verbal commitment of the spring recruiting season over the weekend. Cooper Pelk, a 4-sport athlete at Kalispell Glacier, gave his verbal commitment to head coach Bobby Kennedy and his staff. Pelk earned Class AA First Team All-State honors as both a wide receiver and cornerback during his senior season. The 6'3", 190-pounder caught 37 passes for 707 yards and 7 touchdowns last fall as the Wolfpack won the Class AA state title.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. This news dropped live yesterday while we were hanging out at the pawn shop, Cash One Pawn. But the Big Sky Conference MVP on women's basketball, Taylor Chirick, returning to Montana State. She posted that on her personal Instagram. So I don't know how much else do you need to hash it out other than the best player, one of the best players in the Big Sky, who had an opportunity probably to go to a lot of different places, is not doing that. She's staying in Bozeman. So I think that's a good thing for basketball in the state of Montana. If you're missing the first hour of the show, fun first hour, Samuel Kim inside the SCS, talking all things pro day for both Montana and Montana State. We also heard from Avery DeCoit, a Missoula Big Sky senior and a future Lady Grizz. And we also gave you some wings, the Desperado Sports Tavern and Grill. Talked a little women's hoops when it comes to the NCAA tournament. All 4 1 seeds are the Final Four, entering that Final Four, which begins on Friday. We are coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal has one bin recycling. They pick it up right at your house. You want to add the service or you want to make the switch, 406-541-7171. That's 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only bears that should be in your garbage. We go now to the ESPN MT phone line. Welcome in our good buddy Colby Dant, the College Basketball Experience Podcast, one of the top podcasts covering college hoops here in the country right now. The Final Four on the horizon coming up on Saturday, so we're going to break it all down. Colby, thanks for joining us, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Always a pleasure to be on this show, and I mean it's been a great NCAA tournament thus far. I mean I think it's the most watched tournament since 1993, if I read that correctly.
It's interesting because I follow you on Twitter, and there's been some discourses that I've came upon throughout the year where there's been some people that have been tweeting about the lack of quality of college basketball, the decline in the product. And I actually have to admit that I was a guy that thought that for a couple years when we first got into this mess of the transfer portal. But I actually think that it's actually evened itself out. And I'm back around on the other side. I am one of those people that have been watching all the games, of course. But I mean, I've been really loving it. I've been really enjoying the quality of basketball, not just the competition on the court. So I know you've been a staunch defender of college basketball and the product that it is right now. What do you think of just what it is and the display that this tournament has been for the quality of the game right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has been also getting older, but I also believe that much like in college football, that the transfer portal is the great equalizer, and same with the ability to pay players and recruit those players and be able to sustain those players. Now, I will say that the Cinderellas, 14 to 16 or 13 seeds to 16 seeds, it seems like they might be in the odd man out, and that makes a lot of sense. I still think it's too short of a sample size, but I definitely feel, and I felt this way coming into the tournament, that I felt like 1 to 9 seeds or 1 to 10 seeds were much more tougher game in, game out than I thought than previously. And I think that can be said because I just think the middle of the power conferences specifically, but also the top of the mid-major teams, Santa Clara should have beat Kentucky, I mean, like they really should have. I feel like if they had played a 5-game series, they would have got them. And a lot of other ones where you just say, man, the middle class is better today than they were in the previous years. And really the sport of basketball, there's more good basketball players, I think, than ever. And I think it's, I don't know where you're at with the NBA, but I believe this is the best product for basketball that we have going in the world.
No doubt. I know the NBA has some stuff that's maybe been standing in the way just in terms of the way that the games and the rosters are managed, but it's undeniable that the talent that exists, I totally agree with you. There's more great basketball players right now than there ever has been. I mean, I think that just the skill development combined with the size and athleticism it's unparalleled. The freshman class is also a really interesting part of this tournament. I mean, that's been really fun part to watch is how many impact freshmen there's been. I mean, there's several really, really good freshman in this Final Four coming up, right? I mean, UConn wouldn't be in the Final Four if it wasn't for a freshman hitting a huge shot against Duke. Illinois got a great one. Arkansas had a great one. You go just around and around. Arizona's got multiple great ones. What do you attest that to? Like, why do you think there's such a great freshman class? Is this just completely, circumstantial, or where does this come from?
Yeah, I think it could be circumstantial a little bit, but I also believe like there's so much with college basketball going to the European game. Meaning all the Euros that have been able. Look at Illinois' team. I feel like their whole roster is from Europe.
Right.
And there's literally like 2 or 3. I remember being at media days this year. I went to the ACC media days, and I went to the WCC, and I went to the like 4 or 5 different media days, and it was hard to understand because you're looking at a guy, that would come into a school and you're saying this guy averaged 40 points a game at this one league that I'd never heard of. So, but every roster had 1 or 2 of those guys at least. Those guys all came into the college game and also they're older players as well. But I think that left more room between the cracks for some of these freshmen to fall. You look at Keaton Wagler; he wasn't even a huge recruit. So Illinois was able to really get him. But I think a lot of that was probably because everyone's focused on the European talent and the transfer portal, and some of these freshmen though have really slipped between the cracks. But also, I do think it is also at the same time a very good class, and that just happens every so often.
Yeah, I was talking about this. I mean, sociologically, that maybe the impact here is that this is the first high school class that we've had that was not impacted by the pandemic. Like, these guys all started and finished high school and didn't have any interruptions. So I thought that was an interesting point that one of our other co-hosts made sometime last week. But the freshman class has certainly been a huge part of this college basketball season. It's our ESPN Roundtable. Colby Dant from the College Basketball Experience podcast joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. It's probably presented by Stockman Bank of Montana. Stockman Bank in Montana, only in Montana, and they plan on keeping it that way. Let Stockman Bank show you Montana's brand of banking. So out of the 4 teams that are in the Final Four, Colby, who to you is the biggest surprise?
I actually think for me it's UConn. I know that sounds crazy because you're like, man, they've won 2 natties in the past 3 years, but I really felt like this team this year had not passed the eye test to me, especially in the conference play within the Big East. The both matchups against Georgetown, both matchups against Providence, the first game against Villanova, they just hadn't. Creighton drilled them. Like, they just hadn't looked the part to me. But they have championship pedigree, and it's clearly shown in these games, whether it's Caravan, whether it's Ball, whether it's just the Hurley and the staff and the expectations that they build in for you coming to UConn. I'm more surprised at that than really any other team. Arizona and Michigan have looked like 2 of the best teams all year. And Illinois, if you had asked me at a certain point of the year, Illinois was one team that I thought at one point did look like one of those teams as the best teams. They just weren't consistent. But Underwood's always had problems in the tournament, so I was a little reluctant to really back them. But they're old and good. And one thing that I think we talked about last time I was on the show, and you saw Duke collapse really the past 2 years. I believe I cited this stat last time. Since 2021, all of the Elite 8 teams have been old, with the exception of Duke this year and last year.
Right.
And when you get to the Final Four teams, I think Duke's the only exception from last year. So all these teams are pretty old, and Illinois is super old. So not that surprised that they're here.
It's a super interesting point, because I think that's one of the few crossovers you see between college football and college basketball. I mean, we did a whole segment about how the last 3 football national champions, Indiana this year, Michigan, how they were some of, if not the oldest teams in the country, based on like the amount of experience that they have in terms of guys that have played on their roster for 3+ years, and or guys that have just played college football for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Hardly any freshmen or sophomores playing on those teams. So it's funny how with all this chaos and all the money that's being thrown around, it's actually settled on the old school way of doing it, right? Like an experienced roster that's played together for a while is still the way to win basketball games and football games, it seems.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I was watching that Duke game really this year and last year, where they collapsed against Houston and then collapsed against UConn. You're saying, they could sure use a veteran
right.
point guard or a couple of veteran players that have been in a situation like that, because I think if you just have a veteran team, they know, hey, we can take the foul here, shoot free throws, and you probably get out of that game with a W. So you're seeing it firsthand from Duke, of all teams, and I would argue some of the other teams that choose to go the freshman route. They're bringing in great talent, but they're not advancing that far in March.
Colby Dant joining us here on Nuanez Now. 102.9 ESPN Radio. Illinois is an interesting one, too, because it's been a little while. Like Bruce Weber had Illinois rolling, and then they've been, fine, but not like they are right now. This is certainly one of Brad Underwood, if not probably the best team he's had at Illinois. First time they made the Final Four since 2005. They have the European influence. They have veterans. They also have a stud freshman in Wagler. Where are we at with Illinois, though, in terms of the key for them getting here? What do you think was the key factor in their emergence, is actually punching down the door and actually getting to the Final Four?
Wagler's emergence from beginning of the season was pretty substantial. It seemed like he was getting better with the coming months. So that right there, but also I did like their path. I think they beat Houston, but not having to play North Carolina. I know North Carolina was dinged up. Not having to play Florida because Iowa had beaten Florida and then beaten Nebraska. They had a nice path, but at the same time, I don't want to just completely bomb on them. I think their team has gotten better as the season's gone along. Underwood did have a good game plan, I thought, for really the both games we've seen recently from Illinois against Houston and against Iowa. They had a really good game plan, and they made good adjustments in game, which has kind of been my knack of fading Underwood in the tournament, because he had really struggled at doing that, I thought. So I think a little bit of that, and obviously a team that's really old, that he brought in everybody on this team. So they weren't super cohesive early in the season. Wagler was also a young kid, but Wagner growing up before our very eyes. And then the fact that all these guys have gotten more and more time to play together at their age, I think is pretty substantial as well.
UConn, you mentioned that it's sort of funny that that's the answer to who is the most surprising, but if you have listened to Dan Hurley talk, he talked about all the pressure that he put on the team and put on himself last year to try to three-peat, and that didn't happen. I mean, they started poorly, and then they didn't have a very good year, just got an 8 seed and sort of just wilted away. But now here they are back in the mix. How much do you think just the relieved pressure of not having to three-peat maybe influences the run that UConn's gone on?
Yeah, I think there might be something there with that. I mean, they still gave Florida, probably other than Houston, the biggest test of their run last year. But yeah, I mean, this has been I think it's been Hurley's best coaching job that I can recall, and that even goes back to watching him at Wagner and Rhode Island. Terrace Reed was kind of a non-factor early on. He's really emerged lately. That was surprising. I remember when he transferred over from Michigan, I was a skeptic of what they saw in him, because I thought he really struggled at Michigan. But clearly, there's a reason why he's making millions and I'm over here, But that emergence right there. Obviously, Caravan, he even struggled in the Duke game. He didn't play great, but he was poised, obviously, with the key pass or key assist of the night. But he's challenged his team, and we've seen guys grow up right before us. You mentioned Mullins. Mullins is a freshman from Indianapolis that really, emerged, I think, got better, fit the system as the season went along. So I think it's been a testament to that. But this is his best coaching job that I can recall. Just with the way they looked mid-season, they still look good. Don't get me wrong, but I just thought there was no way they would be in the Final Four. I disagreed with the odds at the time, because I thought UConn was still getting that love from their 2 championships. But here they are, Danny Hurley in the Final Four. So I'm the fool here.
No doubt. Well, on the other side, I think a lot of people are clamoring and wishing that we could reseed this thing so we could get Arizona and Michigan on Monday night instead of Saturday night. But c'est la vie, that's what we get anyways. I think it's going to be a great Final Four contest between those two. They are both juggernauts in different ways. So just compare and contrast these 2 Goliaths that are clashing on Saturday night.
Oh, I can't wait for this one. I know you said the same there, and really, there's so many intangibles to this matchup. The one thing that I say right out the gate that stands out to me is Arizona's guards against Michigan's guards. You know, Michigan obviously lost L.J. Kaysen earlier this year. 28 games into his season, he's out, and I was skeptical of that injury. He was a key reserve for them, getting about 19 minutes a game. And they really haven't made me eat my words yet, but I wondered in March, could this happen? Can Elliot Cadeau, can McKinney, can Namari Burnett, can they pick up the slack and really, be a factor? And it hasn't bit them yet, but I wonder if this is the game when you have Braden Berries and Jaden Bradley, two just elite guards that are going, I think they combine for like 30 points. That's the clear advantage I see with Arizona. Now, at the same time, you could say, well, Michigan, they're such a great defensive team. The way to beat them is shooting the three, and Arizona certainly does not shoot the three. So it's the inside, the trenches of this matchup are going to be fascinating with Koa, Pete, and company for Arizona. The European guys that they got there with Krivas and the other gentleman's name that I always butcher. But going up against Yaxel Lendenberg, the UAB transfer, and Marez Johnson and Mara, I think that's where it's really going to be fascinating to watch. Can Arizona have success on that front? I think they probably will, but here's another factor. Both of their coaches, Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd, are rumored to be the North Carolina Tar Heels coach. Or plans, like they've asked these questions to both these coaches. They've taken the high road. But Tommy Lloyd's answer was a little more concerning, I think, if you're a Wildcat fan, because he wasn't as definitive as Dusty May that he was staying put. Either way, it makes for just an epic matchup. I have them power rated as my top two teams in the country. Like you said, you're kind of wishing this was the national championship, but we get it in the Final Four. I wonder the crowd, because it's in Indianapolis.
Sure.
You wonder if that could be the X factor. The only thing that I think could help Arizona here, because I expect it to be a Michigan crowd, is if those Illinois fans win and stay, and they root for Arizona to play Illinois as opposed to Michigan. Maybe that could be. You've seen that before in some of these, the tournament matchups there, but. I'm fascinated for this game. I like Arizona just because the guards, at the end of the day, that's where I think Arizona will prevail. But I do think there's a slight coaching edge in Michigan's favor, being that Dusty May's been in the Final Four before. So, and I guess you could say Tommy Lloyd when he was an assistant was.
Sure.
But fascinated for this matchup. I think the guard play is going to be the difference. I think Arizona's probably going to be the team that gets the win, but can't wait to watch it.
Oh, you led me right there with the coaches, because I think it's fascinating as well, because both Arizona and Michigan have been very good. Obviously, Michigan's been in the Final Four a couple times here in the last decade or so. Arizona hasn't been in the Final Four since 2001, but it seems like Arizona sort of had such a defined identity with the institution that was Lute Olson as the head coach, and then they sort of searched for that, and it seems sort of out of character almost to have some of the other coaches that they had, specifically Sean Miller, whereas then Lloyd comes in and it's a little bit more like how Olson did it. And he's talked about Olson a ton and channeled Olson quite a bit. And then at the Michigan side, it seems like Dusty May is also the perfect fit. Like, again, they've had some great success over the years. They got a national championship. They've been to 9 Final Fours. But it seems like both those guys are great fits at their respective schools. So how much do you think each of them deserves credit for guiding these teams to where they're at right now?
Oh, I mean, 100%. I mean, the first thing that stands out to me of like Dusty May, I don't know if you know this, but he wanted the Ohio State job.
Yes.
They had fired Holtman, who ended up at DePaul, and they had the interim head coach, Jake Diebler, win a good amount of games, so they decided to stay put. But May almost went to Ohio State. I think Buckeye fans are probably kicking themselves for that. But yeah, I mean, he was ready. He really waited for his job, because remember, he went to the Final Four at Florida Atlantic, and he decided to stay another year. He had offers, I think, that first year they went to the Final Four, declined those, and really sat back. And I felt like, picked the job that fit him best. He almost went to Louisville, but I think he thought, man, that job's kind of been crazy of late. So getting Michigan, I think, fit him. He's an Indiana guy, and then, man, has he hit the ground running. I think, you can argue that he's done the best coaching in college basketball, I think, over the past 6 years. So that one, unbelievable. And then Tommy Lloyd, and you can even make the argument with Tommy Lloyd that the Zags haven't been the same since he left.
Totally.
So him installing his culture into Arizona and really getting it, because you're right, they just couldn't figure it out before, and it was very disappointing, I know, for Bear Down Nation there, but they just couldn't figure it out, and they were always, getting sniped early in the NCAA tournament. And even Tommy Lloyd, right when he took the job, had to battle with that. I remember them getting bit by Princeton, but he's built this team kind of uncharacteristically from his other teams. His other team shot the three really well and kind of had a bunch of shooters with Kirk Krishna and a few other guys that would just shoot a bunch of threes. This is a physical team, and I think this is his most physical team without question. And he's done an unbelievable job of getting it back to that nasty kind of pedigree that they had back in the 90s.
Michigan has so much size. Arizona has. I mean, they both have great athleticism, but I mean, Michigan's their calling card has been the front line throughout this whole season, let alone this tournament. And Arizona, I mean, they've shown such great depth. They get up and down the court. They're so athletic. Compare and contrast. Like, which style do you think has a bigger advantage over the other one?
Yeah, I mean, that really, like, the bigs of Michigan, I think, have a slight edge, just because their age also. But I like Arizona's guard play. I think is certainly one of the reasons why I think that could be a factor. Pace wise, they play at like a similar pace. I think Arizona's 52nd and Michigan's 58th. But I'm very concerned about the overall just defense that Arizona is going to be able to establish here. I wonder if they just make Cadeau and company, the guard play, beat you by shooting the threes. Cadeau's had games where he's been awful, but I felt like every time I've called him out on our show, he's responded with big games, specifically the Michigan State game in East Lansing. That, to me, is one of the big things is like the game plan. Are they gonna let them get the ball in? I expect them to go zone some. I expect them to say, hey, beat us with your guards. Beat us with your guards. Let's see if you can do it. And on the other side of things, I think if you're Michigan, you're saying, hit the three, hit the jump shot. Let's see if you can do it. They haven't shot the jumper particularly great all year. They've kind of been an inside team. Foul trouble, I think, will be super key in this game, specifically with Lendenberg, because I think Lendenberg, if he's able to stay out of foul trouble, I think he's the true X factor for Michigan and how he wins this game. If they were to win this game, he's got to go for like 20 and 10.
He's awesome to watch. First of all, I don't know if you agree with me on this or not, but I can't believe that he was ever at UAB, and if he was at UAB, that he was. I know he averaged 11 rebounds per game, but he's 15 and 11 at UAB. I thought that guy, you're thinking that guy at UAB should be like 25 and 12 every single night, but he certainly emerged to be one of the best players in the country. But it's crazy that he was ever at a level that was anything but the Power Four, given all of his gifts.
100%, and yeah, I mean, Andy Kennedy's probably watching this, knowing that he was, his team's kind of run up and down the court. I almost think that didn't favor his game. But yeah, he's probably watching this saying, man, I wish we had more money. Could have been able to keep him in Birmingham, and they'd probably be in the tournament. But at the same time, Dusty May had, you look back, he had Vlad Golden at FAU. So he's always kind of anchored his teams with like very good big men that he's had from the mid-major ranks. Because Golden came over from FAU to Michigan, and Danny Wolf from Yale the years prior. So he's done a really good job at identifying, big men in the mid-major ranks that they can just come in and buy.
Colby Dant, College Basketball Experience podcast, joining us here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio, talking all things Final Four. So Illinois is favored slightly against UConn, and Michigan favored slightly against Arizona. I don't know, man. I think the plus odds on either of those are pretty spicy, particularly Arizona. What do you make of just the lines and the money lines?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised. I kind of thought Arizona would be favored.
I did too.
But Michigan, yeah, so I was a little taken back on that one. The other one kind of makes sense to me, especially the way the UConn-Duke game went. But to me, the first thing that stands out is if you think about how many champions over the years, a lot of champions have a ridiculous buzzer beater that kind of propels them to the national championship and you know, they're and crowning themselves national champs. So, like, you go back, even Leitner's shot, that was not in the championship game. That was in the Final Four, led them to take on, I think it was UNLV that year or Kansas, one of the two. And so on can be said. I remember Mike Miller at Florida. They almost lost to Butler in the opening round. And so on and so on. You could do this for a lot of different teams. The Michigan team with Beeline, in the Sweet 16, they hit like a 35-footer at the buzzer to get to the national championship. They didn't win it, but they got there, and I feel like oftentimes you see that. So I could see them setting the line thinking, you know, hey, they were down 20 the whole game, it felt like. There's no way. But at the same time, I'm personally going to take that. I think UConn and Danny Hurley they've bought into that culture right now, the way that they're playing. Like, Danny Hurley is, say what you want about his antics, but man, from a coaching standpoint, you'd be hard pressed to find a better one. I mean, Dusty May, I think him and Dusty May would probably be battling for top coach over the past 5 years for me. I'm going to take UConn in that culture. I think, you know, giving Hurley 4 or 5 days to prep, I think he'll be ready, and I think Terrace Reed's emergence is going to be the real X factor there. And they beat him earlier in the year. UConn beat him by double digits, and Reed only played like 14, 15 minutes that game because he got in foul trouble. They keep him out of foul trouble. I think UConn's gonna find a way to win this game and get back to the national championship. But on the other side, yeah, I think the Arizona guards, I was surprised at the line.
I was too.
Surprised it hasn't moved also because Michigan money always, you know, it's almost like Notre Dame in football. You know, Michigan normally, or even Michigan in football, you can compare the analogy to. Normally, their fan base is so big. It's even outside of people that went to the school. Normally, a lot of money, I feel like, always comes in on Michigan, but I'm surprised that number has stayed put. I'm still wondering if as we inch closer to it, will it come down? Could Arizona end up being the favorite? Or will it rise because of like I said, the Michigan alumni and fan base is just so gigantic. But I'm on Arizona to beat them, so I'm on both dogs. I think Arizona's guards are going to be too much for Michigan. The only thing that bothers me is I do think Dusty May has a slight coaching advantage because he's been here, and I'm concerned that Tommy Lloyd potentially could be the Tar Heels' next coach. So you wonder where your mind's at there for either of these coaches, I guess. But I think Arizona's the better team this year. I really do. And Michigan, that's not a diss against Michigan. They play great, but I think Arizona is the most complete team in the nation. And I think they've done it against the hardest schedule as well. So I got Arizona edging them out in a close game. I think the guard play will be the difference down the stretch. But yeah, that's what I got going there.
Plus on the money line on both sides. It's pretty good. I agree with you. I'm right there with you. Colby Dant, College Basketball Experience, joining us here on Nuanez Now. We appreciate the time, man. We're up against it, so we got to go. But thanks so much for hanging, and I'll be in touch. But as always, appreciate your contributions, and thanks so much for joining us here today.
Anytime, and always been a pleasure jumping on this show. So thank you so much for hearing me out.
There you go. Fun times, man. Connected with that guy years ago, and he's always come on one or two times this time of year, and it's always fun to have him on. So appreciate Colby Dant for joining us. Also appreciate Stockman Bank for their continued support of the ESPN Roundtable. Stockman Bank has more than 40 locations throughout the state of Montana. They're in Montana, only in Montana, and they plan on keeping it that way. Let Stockman Bank show you Montana's brand of banking. Come back, keep it on Montana. The Montana Grizzlies. Talk some spring football on the other side. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
What do you expect me to say to her? She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John?
At Shields, we're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there. We're experts that put products and gear to the test, so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on, because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
The rare moments in life, they're not just few and far between. They're meant to be treasured.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Missoula Big Sky Boys basketball coach Zach Murphy has resigned after a 4-year run, capped by a third-place finish at the state AA tournament in March. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Murphy officially informed athletic director Jack Young on Monday that he was stepping down after letting him know of his potential intentions to do so after the season ended. He told his players he would be resigning late last week in what he described as an emotional team meeting. Murphy cited family reasons in a heartfelt statement to 406 Empty Sports as his reason for resigning. Murphy led Big Sky to 2 state tournament berths and a third-place trophy during his 4 seasons as the varsity head coach. His teams have sent at least one player on to play in college after each season. He was an assistant varsity coach and junior varsity head coach when the Eagles placed 3rd in the 2022 season. It was their best placing at state since taking 4th in 2007 and their first state trophy since winning the championship in 1997. The Grizz football team received its 4th verbal commitment of the spring recruiting season over the weekend. Cooper Pelk, a 4-sport athlete at Kalispell Glacier, gave his verbal commitment to head coach Bobby Kennedy and his staff. Pelk earned Class AA First Team All-State honors as both a wide receiver and cornerback during his senior season. The 6'3", 190-pounder caught 37 passes for 707 yards and 7 touchdowns last fall as the Wolfpack won the Class AA state title.
Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, and the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Spring football rolling for both Montana and Montana State. Always a interesting time of year. Spring ball has had so many different iterations over the years, but now it's sort of it's still a proving ground time, but also a time where teams start to gel because a lot of times you have a lot of mid-year transfers that join you. It's not necessarily been that big of a storyline at Montana State, but it has been at Montana. And certainly they brought in a whole collection of guys at the mid-year that are now sort of making their way. And it's doubly intriguing because of the duality of it all, because you also have a new coaching staff that is implementing their ideas and their thoughts and their leadership as well. Grizz Spring Game is coming up here next Friday, so we're coming right up on it. We continue our Spring Ball interview series here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Go to the ESPN MT phone line. Welcome in one of those new additions, Dylan Payne. He's a running back who joins the Grizz from Washington State. Dylan, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Happy to have you. Appreciate you for being here. So you got to fill me in. So you're from Olympia. You went to Tumwater High School. I used to actually work in Washington, so I covered high school football out there quite a bit. So I'm familiar with your high school. Did you have any knowledge of Montana, or were they ever in the mix with you when you were coming out of high school?
No. So I always knew who Montana was. That was always somewhere I wanted to go out of high school. But unfortunately, at the time, they weren't really looking at me, which is all good. Better late than never, I guess.
It's certainly better late than never, but so tell us about this opportunity then, because you spent 4 years there in Pullman, maybe even 5 years actually at Washington State, but now you get this opportunity to come to Montana. So just take us through it. Tell us about your time at Washington State and then sort of what led this new opportunity here in Missoula.
Yeah, man. Washington State was a good experience for me. I made a lot of lifelong friends there. Had a lot of good times. But it was coming to a point in my career where I just came off a ACL injury into a new coaching staff. And if you guys know anything about Washington State, there's a lot of new coaches coming through there. So I was on like my fourth head coach or something like that, coming off my ACL injury, and then I figured it was time for something new. I was ready for something new. And, I had my brother at South Dakota, and I figured it could be an opportunity to go and play with him for my last year. So, yeah, we made the decision to both transfer over.
Well, Ashton Payne, another one of the mid-year transfers for the Grizz. So tell us about your relationship with him. He's played at the FCS level throughout his career. So first of all, to tell you about your relationship with him, though, you guys must be close if you wanted to sort of finish this thing out together.
Yeah. I mean, we played high school football together, won a state championship together, and then went to Wazoo together, played there. He played special teams quite a bit before he transferred. But, yeah, I've just been really close with him my whole life, and just kind of seeing him develop into the man that he is today is pretty crazy. Like, he's always been my little bro, but now he's taller than me, which kind of sucks, but he's still a little bro, but he's getting big now. And, I've got hit by him a couple times this spring, and I'm like, okay, you're definitely turning into a man. That's good. But yeah, no, just to play with him again is just so unique and special. It doesn't happen very often, so I couldn't be happier.
Dylan Payne joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. He's a running back transfer from Washington State to the University of Montana. How about just the fact that the program for the Grizz have been in transition? Obviously, you signed up to play for the Grizz with a few different coaches, but now turned the page to BK. So how's it gone so far for you? What was your reaction just as a new guy sort of having this coaching change occur?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was shocked at first. I was a little worried. I was looking around the room, and everybody seemed like really calm, and I wasn't used to that with the coaching changes in the past at my old school. So just seeing the guys, how calm they were, and like watching them go down to the locker room, like, we're gonna be fine. Like, that's what they were saying, we're gonna be fine. Like, nobody was worried, and that just kind of gave me the reassurance. Like, okay, these guys know who the new head coach is gonna be, and they trust him. Then we're gonna be all right.
It seems like that's a pretty common thought amongst the team, certainly. And Bobby Kennedy's doing a heck of a job. We had him on the show here last week, and it was fun talking to Coach BK. When it comes to just the process of acclimating to a team, it seems like this is a place at Montana where that is an opportunity. It seems pretty seamless, too. How would you just describe how it's been to sort of get to know your teammates and sort of adjusting to life and football with the Grizz?
Yeah, it's been great. Like you said, it's been very seamless. The culture is the biggest thing that I've kind of really been able to just take a hold of, because it just reminds me of being at Tumwater High School, having that winning culture, where everybody expects to win. It's not like, oh, we're going to do something different this year. We're going to go out and prove people wrong. It's like, no, the standard is winning here, which is something that I can appreciate a lot. It's been great, and obviously the guys on the team have been very welcoming, very friendly group of guys, competitive group of guys, just my kind of people.
The running backs room is a fascinating one, too. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show. First of all, I just wanted to say, hello and welcome to the community, but also the running back battle is a good one as well. I mean, obviously, Eli Gilman, an entrenched All-American, but this day and age college football, especially for a team like the Grizz that scores 40-plus points a game, there's a lot of carries to go around, and I think certainly the guys that are getting the carries outside of Eli Gilman this year are going to be huge parts of the offense. So tell us about the position battle and how you're fitting into your room and just some of your impressions so far of just acclimating to what maybe the Grizz scheme demands of a running back.
Yeah, the position battle's been good. The minute I got in there, the guys took me in and have been helping me a lot with the playbook and stuff. So that's been super nice. But yeah, we all compete. We're all friends off the field. But we all, when we get to the field, we all compete, but we're also helping each other the whole time. And if I run the ball, I always come back to Eli or Sheem, and I always talk to those guys and ask if they saw something different on that, and it's the same vice versa. So we always help each other out, and I think it's making us a lot better.
We mentioned Hasheem Jones. I think that's a guy that Grizz fans that have been paying attention are intrigued by. He had huge high school numbers. He got in a couple games last year, but still preserved his red shirt. Seems like a really talented guy. You get to see him all the time. How would you describe his playing style for maybe those that haven't seen him?
Yeah, Hasheem is very twitchy. Like, he surprised me with how tall he is, that he can make certain cuts. A lot of times you see with the taller back, they're kind of just a downhill runner. But his ability to change directions definitely surprised me. And he can drop his shoulder too and lay the boom on some people for sure.
Well, it's going to be a fun position battle. I don't even know if it's battle, just a position group to watch during the spring game next week. So, last thing for you, then, what do you hope to get out of the spring game, and how do you guys sort of as a team take the momentum of this spring ball then into the summer and then into next fall?
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, it's an opportunity for us to kind of showcase to all the fans what we've been working on in the spring, and hopefully put a good product out on that field, and then just have fun. Really, it's my last spring ball. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna get a little taste of the Grizz football atmosphere at Washington Grizzlies Stadium. So I'm pretty pumped for that.
Dylan Payne here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Appreciate you making some time, man. We'll look forward to meeting you in person, but thanks so much for hopping on here today.
Of course. Thank you.
Dylan Payne, Washington State transfer. I think that it'd be interesting to see because Hasheem Jones is a really talented athlete. I think Dylan Payne has a chance to be a good player if he can get back to full health. He mentioned his injury there at Washington State, so we'll see how that all plays out. But appreciate him for chiming in. I think there's certainly a group of. I mean, they brought in a ton of mid-year guys. I think there's several though that maybe are how do you say? Them being good to great will have a huge impact on Montana. I think the need for them to be good or great, right? Like, I think that if Jones is ready, that's awesome, and I think he's going to be. But you just got to have 3 or 4 backs, man. Like, you just never know when somebody gets dinged. It's not even if they miss a game or a week or a month or whatever. God forbid they get a bad injury, they miss multiple months or the season, but within the scope of a game, like, you never know when you get rolled up on a pile. You got a backside tweaked ankle, or you get the wind knocked out, or whatever. Like, you got to have another guy. You got to have multiple guys that can go in there and spell you. And the deeper the running back stable, the better you're going to be. So certainly, I think that's going to be a key factor for the Grizz football team. So that'll be a fun position battle to watch. Golf season is here. I went golfing this last weekend. It was awesome. It was fun. Last Best Golf Company started in a garage 3 years ago with one goal: to deliver tour-quality club fittings and precision builds to golfers across western Montana. Last Best Golf Co. has since outgrown the garage. They now have a new location at 517 South Orange Street. From beginners to pros, They use advanced technology and proven data to help you get the absolute most out of your game. With spring right around the corner, now's the time to book your equipment consultation and make 2026 your best season yet. At Last Best Golf Co., they don't just sell off the rack golf clubs, they sell and build pure performance, custom fit just for you. Check out the new shop at 517 Orange Street in Missoula. Take a break, come back, and keep on talking spring football. That's next. Keep it right here, ESPN Radio.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky Country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Why would any business let you use their product and give you 365 days of reassurance? Mattress Firm does because they believe in their mattresses. Save on top brands like Nectar, Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest, Serta, Stearns & Foster, and others. Mattress Firm carries $149 mattresses all the way up to the luxury Purple Rejuvenate Premier. 0% in payments as low as $39 a month, along with 365 days of reassurance. See why Mattress Firm is Montana's best place to find the sleep you deserve.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, and the only Bears that should be in your garbage. You're missing in the show, we talked Grizz and Bobcat Pro Day, who are the top pro, who have the top pro aspirations among the participants, with Samuel Akim. We also heard from Avery DeCoit, a future Lady Grizz who's a senior at Missoula Big Sky. We also talked to Colby Dant, the college basketball experience, all about the NCAA Final Four. And we also talked with Dylan Payne, the transfer running back from Washington State. All of it on the pod. Available on all your various podcast hosting platforms. Please rate, review, subscribe. I mentioned that Payne is one of the transfers that Montana needs to be good. He could be the 2 running back. He could be the 3 running back. I'm not sure, but they're going to need depth behind Eli Gilman. But other sort of guys that are in that mold, I think Adama Fall, who's a transfer from Arizona State. He's a grad transfer. He's a safety. They need some help at safety, certainly with the graduation of several guys. And I think Fall looked really good, on film at least. And I think part of it's like a high priority because you only get 1 year with him, right? The TNT Mose, the linebacker who's actually originally from Euless, Texas, who transferred from Georgetown, I think he's a guy that will probably fit in the mix, at least on special teams, but maybe in the rotation as well. Grizz do have some really good returners. Peyton Wing was a first-team All-League guy last year. Solomon Tuliapupu was a second-team All-Conference guy. Clay Oven is a really good player. So Mose is going to have a hard time breaking into the rotation at linebacker, but maybe he can. He'll probably be pitted against Justin Eklund, who's another senior transfer from Bowling Green. But I think the guy who emerges out of those two will be certainly in the rotation and also probably be expected to be a key contributor on special teams. Tyler King's another one. I think that the Grizz have a little bit of depth coming back up front, but I heard that a couple of their interior guys suffered injuries, so they might be lacking depth now on the interior of the defensive line. You can also never have enough depth on the interior defensive line. They do return Hayden Schwartz. I had mentioned that maybe Hunter Peck was trying to get an extra year. First-team All-Conference defensive end. He's doing pro day on Friday, so I think that fully indicates that he is not coming back, obviously. You're trying out for the NFL scouts instead. So I do think that there's going to be an elevated need for Tyler King to be a good player. He's 6'5", 250 pounds, started his career at Central Washington. I mean, he's an All-American at the D2 level, so he's got some good pedigree. I just think that more bodies up front, the better, especially when the D-line has been maybe not a strength of the Grizz defense in recent years, and they have some potential injuries there, and they just need to be better as an overall unit. Probably some more guys that are worth noting that are probably going to be relied on, but we'll get into those maybe a little bit later on. But for now, we appreciate you for hanging. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Brooks and Nuanez will join us to talk football from a variety of different levels. We'll also hear from Eli Kasberg, recent Grizz commit from Missoula Big Sky, who also hit a buzzer beater to help the Eagles get third place at the state tournament in hoops. And we'll fill in the blanks wherever we can. We'll see you at 4 p.m. tomorrow. This has been Nuanez Now. You're listening to 102.9 ESPN Radio.